Well, I mean, this is a topic that we've got to bring up right now. You said that Fnatic was a team that you perceive is going to make worlds. We've heard this from a lot of people. People think that you guys and Fnatic will always just end up like topping the region. But right now, the team just looks like a dumpster fire. Like it looks really, really, really fucking bad. So, what do you think is like the main problem? Do you think it was just like drafting like the Soraka Graves comps like that they just weren't able to like pull off, like, like they're playing Syndra bot lane for Reckless? Do you think that they're just like not drafting to their own team's strengths, or like why do you think Fnatic has performed so poorly in summer so far?
Yeah, so I mean, I think they got 2 losses just because they tried the Grave Soraka thing. Honestly, if they played like just normal, they would for sure win those games. But honestly, Grave Soraka was just absolutely horrible because after 20 minutes, Graves is not a champion anymore. And if you want Soraka to have like a hyper carry to heal, probably shouldn't be Graves. But apparently working scrims for them, so I don't know. But yeah, recently, the last 2 games or 3 games, I think it's a part of drafting, and it's mostly drafting from Hylissang. I think he's kind of like int picking his champions. He doesn't really, maybe, I'm not sure if he's actually blind picking. I'm pretty sure he's blind picking because whenever I look like all 5 champs, his champion just doesn't seem to fit in that game. And he always seems to run it down. Like, yeah, just because it doesn't really make sense. And he also plays champions that are not really his champs, Like, I'm sure if he picked like Rakan, even if it's not like a tier 1 pick, like I know in NA, Ignar picks Rakan whenever it's open. And it's built like Zonia and shit on him. But yeah, honestly, if Hylissang just picks like Rakan, he's for sure gonna 1v9 a game or 2, instead of just playing Nautilus, because he's not very known for his Nautilus or his time.
Get him off Nautilus, get him off Tam Kench, get him off all that shit. Exactly. No, that's one of the things about Hylissang that also tilts me, is when he was at his peak, right? If you gave him like praise, you were like, oh, he's such a sick playmaker, and like, oh, he's so aggressive, no fear, on certain champions, he's amazing. Again, like, people in League have just got to start learning that, like, if this was like Madden, okay, like, or FIFA for Mickey Hayes, he doesn't play American games. If this is FIFA, right, and you're rating the players in the game, right? Everyone can't be a 100, otherwise the game would be ruined, wouldn't it? Like, even the great players, like Messi might be like 98, and then maybe like fucking some really good, like Solar's like 95 or something, The idea is everyone's got like a different scale. So even when Hylissang was at his peak, people used to oversell it and be like, no, well, those are just champions he's really good on. He's also great on all the rest and has a massive champion. I'm like, what are you talking about? He doesn't. Because I kind of agree with you. To me, Hylissang is one of those players where, unlike you in this scenario where we were talking about earlier, where you just have to pick to fit the rest of them and pick to fit the comp and pick to fit the ADC, I think they should go the opposite way in Fnatic. I think they should make pick for Hylissang, because actually his strength is when he goes for all these players and when he tries to win the game himself, basically. Like, he's not the guy who can just go, oh, what's better at the moment? Oh, Nami, I'll just play that and play a conservative. That's just not Hylissang. At that point in time, you haven't got Hylissang on your team. You just got a worse support. So to me, they should turn that around, because he's the biggest players that are the issues for me actually are Hylissang, champion pool-wise, and then just Nemesis in terms of actual performance. I know everyone's going to go, all the Fnatic fans, because Fnatic fans are the TSM fans of Europe. Oh, and TSM fans just pick the player who's not the super popular one. So at the moment, I've heard, it actually turns out I'm wrong, Dom. Apparently they are all just going in on Broken Blade all the time. Yep. The guy who was like saving their asses in the spring split, because he's not called Doublelift, he's not called Bjergsen, he's not the more famous, beloved player, they're just going in on this guy who's the newer guy. So they do the same thing in Fnatic. The whipping boy for Fnatic, ever since Caps left, is always Bwipo. It's like, right, well, oh, Reckless is playing bad, bloody Bwipo. It's like, they're like that bike team. Like, it's fucking Bwipo's the stick every time. So, like, in this scenario, well, I guess it wouldn't be the stick in the meme because the stick did actually cause that. But it'd be like, that's like Nemesis is the stick. They shove in, they go, fucking Bwipo. But here's the thing, Bwipo has been playing badly. But there's another player where, like, what I appreciate about Bwipo is he actually tries to make something happen. Like, he doesn't just sit back in the game and go, oh, well, we're losing, so I'll just fucking sit on this, like, 2 deaths and just play really safe and definitely lose the game. Like, he goes for it and tries to turn the game around. So to me, you've got to let players like that be themselves. And then within that, you try and make a comp that works. You can't tell Bwipo, right, actually, you're now like Kubo from Evil Geniuses and Hylissang, you're actually like the most fucking like passive support ever, and then we'll win the game. Like, that's not going to work. So to me, I don't write off Reckless. I think I've seen him too many times come back in splits and get good by the playoffs. I could believe he's going to do it. Selfmade looks straight fire. It's not even about like they have to fix those players. I think they just have to figure out how they want to use those players, because at the moment they're a problem, but you can turn that into a strength if you do it right. Like Mickey's saying, it's not like you can only play 3 things as support. You can force these picks as Ignar does. The idea is, the difference is, in fact, Ignar's a perfect example of what I was talking about before. Ignar's not going in the draft like, you guys pick whatever you want, I'll fill whatever's left. He's going in the draft like, right, so who's picking what to go with my Thresh? It's like, what? All right. That's just Ignar. You don't buy Ignar to your team if you don't want that.
Yeah, I mean, for sure they should try to draft more around Hylissang, because I think one time they did, where he got the counter pick, we had Blitzcrank into Thresh, and he just absolutely 1v9 the game. And I'm sure like last year, I think, they were playing like the Pike Karma thing. Like if they start doing something like that again, where he plays a comfortable champion, I'm pretty sure they can like fix a lot of their issues, because I think most of their issues are, well, draft and some individual performances. But I think, yeah, just from draft already, it seems like, just looking at their champs, it seems like a bit lost, because Fnatic was always known for playing like their comfort champs, even if they're not like meta. They was like last year they were playing like Aatrox a lot when no one was playing Aatrox, and then until people started banning it, they just kept picking it every game until they started banning it. Same for Karma, and yeah, people just have to like start banning it. But now they're kind of just playing with the meta, I guess, which doesn't really suit them.
I honestly, I made this point on Thorn's rotations, but I honestly think that G2, like your team, I think that you guys mind fuck Fnatic in that final because of like their like necessary bans, where they're like, shit, like on blue side we gotta ban Syndra every game, no one else has to fucking do this, and then they're like, shit, like we gotta fucking play Syndra, like this is unacceptable that we have 3 blue side bans every single game, no other team does this, let's get on this. And then now Reckless is just like playing Syndra like every other game, or like whenever it's up, you know, they're just giving Reckless Syndra, and it's like, dude, that's just not your team. Like, you don't ever want to see the Reckless Syndra. He's not bad on it. He's better than Doublet is on it. But it's like this. It's the same. It's the same type of fucking idea where it's like these legacy AD carry players. Like, you don't want to see Uzi's Syndra. Even if Uzi could play Syndra, it's just like give him like the fucking like Ezreal like every single time. Like, he's just gonna be better on that champion. Like, he's never gonna be a special Syndra. He'll be a special Ezreal. So I feel like, you know, you guys actually take a lot of the blame for why Fnatic sucks right now, because, you know, you actually just mental boom them in finals, where like now they don't even know what type of team they are anymore. Like, they don't have an identity anymore after what you guys did to them. So
you took their souls, Mickey. You took their fucking souls. Exactly their identity, who they were as people.
I think the thing they misunderstand about like the whole Syndra flex is, I think from now that they picked it, they're just trying to show other people that they play at bot and mid. But they actually don't use it in a way that it's good for draft. For example, the last game they played, they put Syndra mid, even though if they put it bot and then pick a better mid laner, the game is so much easier for them to play. But yeah, and then the first time they picked Syndra, it's probably fine mid, but it's wanted to show people that the Reckless actually plays Syndra. So, you know, so other people are like scared.
And I have a take on that, actually, which is, you know, when people always say like the most fun thing in the world is to prove someone wrong, they mean like if someone says you're not going to win and you win, prove them wrong. Like, people in League of Legends do this. Dude, the week where Doublelift picked the Syndra and forced it and was shit on it, which right after I did that tweet where I was just like, when Doublelift said he was super motivated, I was like, right, show me the mages then. And then my joke was like, afterwards, I was like, I apologize. I'll never ask that again. Like, and that's like, you're supposed to show me I'm wrong by not picking the Syndra and then just carrying it with all the AD carries. That's how you prove I'm wrong. If you don't pick it and then be shit, that proves that they were right. You've had to pick it through for that. You proved that everyone was right about the Syndra.
I mean, to be fair, it worked pretty well for them on the bot lane. And just like,
yeah, the Blitzcrank Syndra game looked good for sure.
Yeah,
that's all you need to say right there. Listen, I've been keeping it somewhat tame with the Nemesis hate because, listen, he's the biggest fucking hater of his own game as far as I can tell. So all I would say is this. Here's my one little dig I'm going to put in. Nemesis, homie, you play mid lane and in a meta where people can pick loads of stuff still. Reckless picks up champions faster than you. Mid lane champions, bro. Case closed.
What I've said before about Nemesis is like, he's the type of player that I feel like this meta should benefit. Like, he was always a really consistent player, and I don't think you need to play every fucking champion in the world mid lane right now. Like, the champions that he was good on historically, like TF.
You can spam him for sure.
Yeah, like TF, and then like, I mean, he can play Galio if he wants, but, you know, like, you can pick Orianna early, you can pick Azir early. Like, these types of champions I feel like should be fine for Nemesis's playstyle. I just feel like they're trying to be like too smart, or they're trying to play like too many different things. It's like, you don't need to fucking be playing on hit ADTF. Everyone else in the fucking world plays APTF with Spellbook every single time they get it, right?
By the way, people, this might be a detail people might not know. Over in Korea, Faker, I can't remember if they played today or not, but like Faker, out of the 12 wins they had, 9 of them were on Azir and TF. So it's not like Faker's like, oh, I play 50 million. He just plays whatever works and just spams that if it works. So take a page out of his book. I'm with you. The actual meta right now is his meta. It's like Ader and fucking TF and Orianna. Like this, you should be in this. You should be loving this. Nemesis is your meta, mate.
Yep, but
It's
instead
not fucking Akali, all that shit.
yeah, I mean, instead they're picking like Karma mid, and they're picking like these Galio times where it's like, okay, you don't have engage with the Galio, which like defeats the purpose of the pick. So, I mean, I just think that's super fucking weird for them. And then the other point I wanted to make about Hilly when you were talking about it was kind of how people's perception was, oh, this guy is like super good on these champions, and they would just give him credit for the other ones. I think that just people thought that those champions, the new champions, or like the champions that he didn't play much of, so the Nautilus, Tahm Kench, etc., were just easier. So they're like, yeah, I mean, if this guy fucking plays Pyke, if he plays Thresh, how the fuck can he not play Nautilus, you know?
Are you ready?